Hello, you're watching the next release of the Top 5 Top 10 channel. And now we'll talk about the most terrible and deadly natural disasters on Earth, as well as recall the terrible devastation they have inflicted on humanity throughout history. Let's go! We'll start with Killer Lake, which happened for the last time in Cameroon on August 21, 1986. It was a usual clear day when suddenly almost all the inhabitants of the village of Nuis, 1,700 people, died instantly for no apparent reason. Death came so quickly that one woman who was cooking porridge stood at the plate as if alive. Arriving scientists found dead herds of cattle in the pastures next to the village. An autopsy showed that both humans and livestock died from carbon monoxide poisoning. This seems strange, since a volcanic eruption which could release such an amount of CO2 hadn't happened. An investigation led to Lake Nyos, which had changed its color the day before. Everything became clear. Magma, which is under the lake, releases carbon dioxide, which, passing through the Earth's crust, gets to the bottom of the lake. In fact, a small amount, 5,000 tons per year. The trouble is that the gas, because of the large amount of water, could not escape and accumulated for more than 300 years. As a result, one day there was an explosion and all the gas that accumulated under the water went to the surface and killed everything alive within a radius of 27 kilometers in the direction of the wind. This kind of phenomenon is not unique. It is called a limnological catastrophe. Today, there are quite a lot of potential killer lakes on the planet, which accumulate carbon dioxide in their waters. For example, in Lake Kivu in East Africa, there is 1,000 times more carbon dioxide. If it burst, then the 2 million people living on its shores would only have to pray that the wind wouldn't blow in their direction. The fourth place is a natural disaster that occurs frequently and reduces the world's population. These are tropical cyclones and tornadoes, hurricanes and rainstorms that happen in them. They are formed over the warm waters of the ocean near the equator. As a result of the motion of the planet, the cyclones move to the west and move north. This is why a large number of hurricanes happen off the eastern shores of North America. The damage caused by them is amazing. For example, in 2004, the hurricane burst caused 117 tornadoes and caused $13 billion of damage only in the United States. A year later, the famous Hurricane Katrina caused damage of $125 billion and killed 1,836 residents. If you recall the most terrible hurricanes around the world, then against their backdrop, Katrina will seem a slight breeze. In 1998, in Honduras and Nicaragua, Hurricane Mitch killed 20,000 people. And the Great Hurricane of 1780 on the islands of the Caribbean killed more than 27,000 people. And if we remember the most deadly tropical cyclones, then the leader is Fola, which hit the territory of East Pakistan in 1970 and killed 500,000 people. Although the cyclone was relatively small in strength and wind speed, the killer force of this storm was the huge amount of precipitation. Most of the islands in the Ganges Delta flooded. Villages and crops washed away from the face of the earth. The third place is occupied by volcanic eruptions. Throughout history, volcanoes have wiped entire cities off the face of the earth. They are due to the degassing of magma. If you carefully open a bottle of a carbonated drink, for example champagne, then a pop is heard and smoke or foam appears from the bottle. This is gas from the drink. That is, degassing takes place. If the bottle is shaken or heated before opening, then a powerful jet will escape from it. If the bottle is not tightly closed, the jet can knock the cork out of the bottle. Magma in the magma chamber is under pressure, just like carbonated drinks in a closed bottle. In the place where the Earth's crust was loosely closed, magma can escape from the depths of the Earth, knocking out the cork of the volcano. And the stronger the cork, the stronger the eruption will be of the volcano. Rocks fly for many miles from the explosion, and they can injure a lot of people. Then comes the release of volcanic ash, which when settling can lead to the destruction of roofs of houses. But most of all, we are interested in the formation of pyroclastic flows, consisting of a mixture of gas, ash, and stones. The temperature inside the stream can reach 800 degrees Celsius, and its speed sometimes reaches 700 kilometers per hour. It is difficult to escape from it, even on a plane, not to mention ground transportation. These flows are one of the main causes of death during volcanic eruptions. They destroyed the cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum during the eruption of Vesuvius in 79 AD. Then, thermal energy was released many times greater than that which was released in the explosion of the atomic bomb over Hiroshima. It is estimated that 16,000 people died. In 1902, the pyroclastic stream destroyed the city of Saint-Pierre with a population of 30,000 inhabitants. Everyone died except for 2 people. They were a prisoner in a prison who was sitting in a solitary underground cell and a cobbler who lived on the outskirts of the city. There have been cases when eruptions drowned entire cities. For example, the Indonesian Krakatoa went completely underwater after a volcanic explosion with a force of 11,000 Hiroshima bombs. 2,000 inhabitants of the island were killed instantly. And the tsunami, which was created by the explosion, led to the death of about 36,000 people on the neighboring islands. But all the volcanoes that have occurred over the last 20,000 years are paled against the backdrop of supervolcanoes that are capable of creating the semblance of a nuclear winter and destroying all life on Earth. Supervolcanoes have already caused the death of most animals on the planet. On average, eruptions of supervolcanoes occur once every 100,000 years. The second place goes to one of the most deadly natural disasters, the tsunami. These are powerful waves generated by a powerful impact on the water, in the ocean, for example, because of a fall of a meteorite. But most often the cause is of an earthquake, during which there is a sharp shift of the seabed. In 2011, after the earthquake in Japan, waves up to 40 meters high flooded several coastal cities. The most monstrous tsunami occurred in December 2004 in Southeast Asia. The earthquake in the Indian Ocean produced waves 15 meters high that hit the shores of Thailand, Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and other countries. About 300,000 people died. This tsunami was recognized as the most deadly in modern history. Several feature films were made about it, the footage from which you now see. The most terrible natural disaster is an earthquake. An earthquake occurs as a consequence of tectonic processes. Sometimes they appear as a result of landslides, volcanic eruptions, mine workings, oil production, as well as nuclear tests. You will be surprised, but there are about 1 million earthquakes annually on Earth. It's just that most of them are so insignificant that they go unnoticed. Really strong shocks that can cause destruction happen on the planet about once every 2 weeks. Most of them are at the bottom of the oceans and are not accompanied by catastrophic consequences, if of course we're not talking about monetary destruction. Earthquakes have a 12-point scale of intensity, and from 6 points are considered dangerous for people as they can destroy buildings, and under their wreckage more people die. One of the largest earthquakes in history, the force of 11 points, which occurred on September 30, 1139 in the territory of the modern Azerbaijan Republic, killed 230,000 people. As a result, a whole mountain even collapsed. The strongest earthquake occurred in China in 1556. The catastrophe claimed the lives of 830,000 people. It is worth mentioning the Great Japanese Earthquake of Kanto, as a result of which in 1923, 174,000 people were killed and 142,000 more went missing. In general, over the past 50 years on the planet, there have been about 10 earthquakes, in each of which killed from 100,000 to 800,000 people. But if you count the tremors that led to the death of less than 100,000 people, then you will not have enough fingers and toes. And yet, why exactly do earthquakes come first in our top 5? The thing is that unlike other natural disasters, it is not possible to protect yourself from one. Do not drown in a tsunami, you just need to not live near the ocean. Do not die from a volcanic eruption, it is enough to not be near it. But you can't hide from an earthquake. They can happen almost anywhere in the world. Another reason why this natural phenomenon comes first is that earthquakes killed more people than the rest of the disasters in this video. That's all, everyone. If you liked the video, put a like and just write in the comments which is the most terrible natural disaster in your opinion. It's interesting to read the opinions of our subscribers. In our top list, the worst thing is an earthquake. But for me personally, the worst thing is a volcano, since I'm most afraid of fire. I'll be waiting for your comments. Bye, everyone.